is my HPI RS4. As you can see, there's been a lot of changes to it over the years. Got all CNC parts all over it. It weighs probably about 5 pounds more than it should. This is a OS18 SS with a blueprinted sleeve and blueprinted crank. I do believe the piston is a chrome moly type. It's got the dynamite exhaust. I was going to go with the higher end exhaust, but at the time I didn't have the money to buy that, so I went with the $35 exhaust, and that's got me almost 90 miles an hour, so, you know, hey. Why spend over $100 for an exhaust when you can only have to spend $30? I use AAA's for my battery pack. They fit pretty much on the stock location. In fact, I think the HPI actually uses AAA's for the... No, they use AA's. As you can see, the OS18 has a very large bore inlet for the air. It really does sound like it breathes when you got it revving pretty loud. The 2-speed is the largest 2-speed that HPI produces. If they had any bigger gears, I'd definitely buy them, but up to this date, I don't have enough parking lot for the gears that I have on it. I could probably actually take this car up beyond 100 miles an hour if I probably had a quarter-mile track to run it on, but since I run it in parking lots and it's a belt drive, I don't really trust the parking lot after about an 1/8 mile. Because if I can't see the ground, it's going to just tear up my belts. So it only takes a little rock about that big to mess these belts up. Oh yeah, it is belt drive. As you can see, no shafts. I'm old school. But over the years, these parts have kind of gotten harder and harder to get a hold of. They probably don't make them for the HPI RS4 version 2s anymore, and that's what pretty much this is. For the most part, the car isn't giving me that much problems, but it did get crushed over the 3 years that I've owned it so far. This is my body that got curbed it over about 90 plus when it went out of control. The servo linkage broke. I was using an associated plate, and I used an E-clip on them. The E-clip fell off. The servo horn went out of control, and next thing you know, the motor just opened wide open. The only thing I can do was hold down on the brakes and hope to God it didn't hit anything. Sure as shit, that curb stopped it. But as you can see, that's where the crumple zone of the car hitting the curb was. The whole body went in like that. And then it took airborne, and then it landed on its roof and skidded to a halt at around probably 50 to 60 miles an hour. And then it flipped back on its wheels and started spinning around in a circle as an SUV ran it over. And you can actually see where the whole ass end of the car literally got pushed right through the bodywork. That's pretty interesting. Other than that, oh yeah, this is the other section where the actual car actually touched the road. This is why this part's all cracked up like that. But yes, it does do 90 after a 90 mile an hour crash, and it does drive straight. This was the 90 mile an hour chassis. As you can see, the motor actually took basically the whole brute of the impact right there. If you can really, I don't know if you can see at the angle of the camera, but you can actually see that the motor dented in right there. The chassis is actually shorter than this chassis by about that much. The whole thing literally got squished. Other than that, it's got a major tweak on it. The accident happened in 6/05. Wow, that was a couple years ago. I made this 1/8" chassis out of Alcoa plate. I tried to make it as good as I could, but it still wouldn't want to steer straight, so that's why I ended up getting the HR chassis. It's really cool. They diamond etched all the edges, and like for the most part, the whole chassis is 1/4 inch. I mean, you can't go wrong with the 1/4 inch plate. I mean, it doesn't even practically need the carbon fiber top plate. But you know, if you're gonna make it strong, I guess you're gonna make it strong. The only other problems that I've seen with this car doing the speeds that it does is my main speed gear, the second speed. That one literally melts. You can actually hear it in my videos. The gear basically just, I don't know, it just, when it goes into the second, it just vaporizes it. But I can get like about 15 runs for the speed before that one usually melts. Then it's $5, but then you gotta find the gear. Nobody carries them that much anymore. I run for a radio. I got a couple of them. My MX3 I'm a very big fan of. This one was actually in the car when the 90-mile-an-hour crash actually happened, so the receiver kind of took a very large blow. This is my JR Racing XP3. This is a semi-professional computer controller. It's 3-channel FM, same as this one, but this one's got a couple more options that this one doesn't have. But this one right here actually has programs set for like braking response and throttle curves that this one doesn't have the option for without intricate programming. But other than that, oh yeah, this is what a Nitro car will actually look like after about 2.5 years on the shelf. As you can tell just by the look of it, this is actually not running accidents. This is basically just sitting on a shelf. It's basically drying out the Lexan. It literally will crack to pieces in the next couple of years if I keep it on the car. It looks pretty cool. Got the flip-flop holographic paint on it, made from spaz sticks. As you can see, if I change the position of the car, it flip-flops a little bit. I actually did this car's paint job after the $8,000 paint job option that you can get for the Mustangs of this year. And it was actually, I think they only did a couple thousand of them. But who the hell would want to pay that much money for a paint job anyways?